Urban textile mills shaped European cities beginning from the late 18th century. Steam engines, bulk transportation infrastructures, and workers allowed the expanding industry to relocate from its initial riverside location and to settle in cities. Textile cities arose as well as urban industrial districts and landscapes. The decline of the textile sector in much of the world has meant that converting and repurposing these historic industrial complexes has become a new opportunity and important task. In this video, I argue that textile mills have been and remain part of the city. The complexes include familiar elements of urban design and architectural representations, but also enrich the variety of spatial structures. Former factory sheds and shelters, as well as newer layers, are more likely to be torn down during current conversion projects than are multi-story buildings and 19th century brick buildings. However, the conservation of these often overlooked elements can trigger particularly inspiring approaches to conversion. We can differentiate 4 types of historic urban textile mill. Multi-story complexes, such as Murray's Mill in Manchester, Geyer's Mill in Utsch, and the Mottau and Linde's Mill in Krefeld, illustrate how industrial production volumes were integrated into urban spatial patterns. These patterns generally consisted of a grid structure that was typically of late 18th and 19th century urban extensions. The complexes were arranged along street layouts, thereby continuing the block perimeter design, although differing in scale. The separation of production spaces and boiler functions from engine houses located in the courtyards improved fire safety. Multi-story industrial brick buildings are appreciated for their solid construction and their flexibility for reuse. The flagship composition describes a mill complex that was designed to impress within a townscape or landscape. In such cases, form might override functional needs. Salt's Mill, constructed from 1851 to 1853, provides a clear example, including its overall design, symmetry, impressive volume, and strong architectural representation. Of interest is the readable differentiation of production into separate units such as spinning, weaving, dyeing, and finishing. Furthermore, historic structures might relate to improvements in social provision such as workers' canteens or bathrooms. Even if complexes are conserved and converted, parts of these historic urban spatial structures often suffer from neglect, demolition, or inappropriate re-densification. To highlight, additive structures as a distinct type might be viewed critically, since almost all these complexes show some additions due to changing business needs, reorganization, or increased production. Consequently, these complexes typically lack monumental architecture or main representative elements. They expanded incrementally over time and were continuously changed, adapted, and rebuilt in accordance with functional needs and improvements. Hence, their historical development typically included reuse or partial demolition. Examples are manifold, such as the Schleife-Areal in Winterthur. A more difficult task is to understand and research their rebuild history in detail, and the many changes and temporal layers might no longer be differentiable. Conversion might maintain this continuity by updating spaces of work. The term production hall is well suited to distinguish this type of building from shed structures. Once individual electric motors were introduced, any type of product could be manufactured within a hall, and so this building type is not specific for the textile sector. Uco-Meistraat in Ghent, mainly constructed in 1948, is one such huge flat structure. There is little experience of reusing or converting such buildings for other purposes, and their vast volume do not easily allow the introduction of new functions that require additional daylight, such as housing or offices. In general, we recognize that the integrity of mill buildings and machinery has often been delivered by chance and through the engagement of a few enthusiastic actors, but that now these mills contribute to the present and future diversity and spatial complexity of our cities. Greater awareness is needed of those mill complexes that still lie in decay, awaiting rediscovery. For much more information, please check the book Urban Textile Mills, Conservation and Conversion.